go. Come on, where is it?
Dave, it's your Idaho Central app here. Any chance you're missing a debit card? Let's get that taken care of for you. With ICCU's card control, you can turn any card off with the tap of your finger.
You got it.
And back on again. Out, 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 out. The closest Idaho Central Credit Union branch is in your pocket.
Pow day.
Dude, let's go.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Bronco Nation News Live from BroncoNationNews.com is presented by RowPaint.com, the official paint and coatings company of Boise State Athletics. All Bronco Nation news broadcasts come from the Western Collective Studios. Head down to Western Collective's locations in Garden City or downtown Boise to try some of their delicious beers, including the Horseshoe Golden Ale, the first beer to support an NIL collective. Now, here's four-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
It's up. When you come in a meeting room, it's hoods off, hats off, notebook out, ready to work, ready to grow. Those are the things that we do to separate ourselves. No different on the practice field. What's up, Jay? No different, right? Nobody walks on the practice field.
The only media member that could get a shout out from the head coach on the first day of practice is Jay Tust.
That's not true.
Jay has that clout. Jay Tust gets acknowledged. Anytime he's in the room, he gets acknowledged. John Mallory paid me $5, by the way, to make sure this.
Hats off, notebook out, ready to work, ready to grow. Those are the things that we do to separate ourselves. No different on the practice field. What's up, Jay? No different, right?
There you go.
Nobody walks.
I never got a sup when I've walked in. You're the man, Jay. Nice hat, by the way. I like it.
It's probably because I was wearing this stupid hat.
You know what? Actually, he did say he mispronounced it. He called it Bronco News, but he actually did say he commented on this hat and said that he doesn't have any Bronco News gear yet. So then that made Johnny laugh even harder. Johnny likes to laugh at weird things in press conferences, but maybe we'll get Spencer Danielson a Bronco News hat at some point.
Maybe.
This is a Taco Bell Tuesday. Bronco Nation News Live. It was a crazy day yesterday, Jay. We had football practice, football interviews, basketball interviews, Big Sky tournament going on last night. Crazy day in Boise. And you and I, over the next 24 hours here, heading down to Las Vegas for the Mountain West basketball tournament. And so we'll have football practice going on the next couple of days, but we'll be mostly focused on basketball. And then you got your spring break, and then we'll be back with, 4 solid weeks of football coverage leading up to the spring game on the 19th, which Spencer Danielson did say is happening and is important to him in terms of, the community and stuff. I get the read. They're not going to do a lot of live action and stuff. It's going to be a lot of almost like a glorified practice probably when it's all said and done. But, it is what it is. And at least there'll be some public opportunity for fans to get out there and be able to, see their favorite players here a month or so. So, we'll talk football. We'll talk basketball. I don't know what you think the lead story is today, Jay. Maybe a Sadie Hawkins today. You can kind of choose what you prefer to start with. But a lot going on and looking forward to getting down to Vegas and obviously crunch time here. How you doing?
Yeah, I'm good. Maybe the lead is, Johnny's hard at work cheering for the Vandals at the Big Sky tournament. Just punching the clock, hard at work, cheering for the Vandals.
Wait, was he there on a credential?
What a life.
Well, hold on a second. Did John Mallory have a credential for the Big Sky tournament?
Either way, he'd bill it as work.
You got to be kidding me. Oh, I've got to tweet this picture out now. I hope you know the picture I'm talking about. What's the name of that mascot?
Joe Vandal.
Yes, I have a Johnny Mallory. I have a photo that I took at the tournament. What were they in the WAC before? The one in Vegas?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Like one of the first years I knew Johnny, he got his picture with Joe Vandal wearing an ESPN or ESPN Boise polo at a press conference, and I have that video. So I will or that photo. So
the annual tweet.
Johnny is hard at work. Go Vandal. I gotta find this. I know.
I'm excited to get down to Las Vegas, though, man. I've said it so many times. I know you'll echo it, but I love the Mountain West tournament. It's so much fun. Tourney time to get down there, and like I said, you walk into that place and there's just plenty of juice, plenty of energy, and whose dreams are gonna die and whose dreams are gonna live on forever as the greatest or one of the greatest weeks of their lives. Going down there is a big deal if you can get 3 wins in 3 days, because it means you also punch your ticket to the NCAA tournament. And so now the biggest question is, does Boise State have enough left in the tank? Do they have enough focus? Do they have enough energy to go down there and do something that they've only done once in school history, BJ, and that's win 3 games in 3 days and hoist up that trophy at the end of the tournament?
And it's crazy because you say this different energy, Jay, and I totally agree. It's like this nervous, exciting energy, but yet it's like a fourth full arena. I mean, it is a weird thing where there is energy. Like you just walk in, you get that feel like somebody's season is ending in the next hour.
Yeah.
It's just a, it is a very, it's weird. There is energy, definitely, but it's a weird energy because it's not necessarily like a packed house where the place is going crazy. Now, for New Mexico, San Diego State, some of these fans, they will have, large crowds and followings, and it'll be, there'll be an atmosphere, but it is this weird kind of nervousness on your, pins and needles, kind of just knowing that, for a team like Boise State, like you have to win Friday or Thursday, to have a chance. And so it is weird.
Bless you.
Thank you. By the way, before we get too much further here, I might as well, hopefully Johnny's watching right now. I did find the photo here, Jay. There he is. There he is. So was this last night?
That was basically, it could have been. Maybe.
This is at the Orleans Arena where the WCC tournament is now, but there's
the WCC moved over to, really?
Yeah, they've been there for a while.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm actually trying. I'm actually flying this afternoon, so I might see if there's what the ticket prices are. 1 year, Jordan K and I and somebody else, I forget who. Oh, your boy Colin Mitchell. I think we went over and watched the Gonzaga St. Mary's game a couple years ago, but it was a Gonzaga blowout or whatever. Tonight might actually be a good game. So
it should be a good game. When's the last time Gonzaga beat St. Mary's? Like,
can we just keep this image on the screen the whole show while we?
I think so. I think we just leave that up. Vandals did get a big win yesterday, though, so you can see why Johnny's so happy in that picture.
Yes, and they play what, semifinals tonight?
Yeah, I thought I saw that it's their first ever win since the Big Sky tournament moved to Boise.
In that arena, yes. So you're right. Yep, it is. Yep. Our boy John Wustrow had a nice lead to his story. He said that arena had typically been a house of horrors for them, but last night it was a house of pain. I guess
Jack Payne. Yeah, local kid. He's played there a number of games. At 20 points.
All right, the viewership was starting to go down with that picture. I had to get Johnny back because he was adamant that I play that video of you walking in. All right, so let's just start with basketball. We're talking basketball. Yeah. We're talking Vegas. Tyree points up, and I do want to bring this up. Joe Lunardi, Boise State, first team out.
Man,
I that's surprising to me. First of all, I still think when it's all said and done, some of the teams he has below them, North Carolina, whatever, you can say what you want about their metrics, say what you want about 1-11 quad one. Like, it's North Carolina and it's Boise State. I'm sorry.
Yep.
I fully expect if those two teams are being picked one or the other, they're going to pick North Carolina. I just 100% believe that. I don't know. I'm not saying they should, but I 100% would expect them to. Maybe I'm crazy. Maybe they don't look at the team name, whatever. But I was a little surprised. I think Jerry Palm actually still has Boise State in the field as one of his last team in. Joe Lunardi has first team out. And you have to remember, though, obviously, if you're an at-large pick, you have another loss coming because that means you're not winning the tournament. So maybe this is all for naught because as soon as they just lose one, they're just going to be bumped down. But you know, I still think they have to win two. I think they have to. If you can beat San Diego State and beat New Mexico, I think you at least have a chance. I don't think a win over San Diego State, in my opinion, would be enough. Who knows what's going to happen with the bid stealers, which pushes people down. I still think the only sure way, obviously, is winning the tournament. I don't even feel great if they were to win two and get to the championship. Maybe the win over New Mexico and San Diego State would be enough. I don't have a ton of faith in this committee, but I guess just where are you big picture with what looks like maybe they're still in a better spot than a lot of us would have thought after Friday's game.
Yeah, I think it comes down to even like who you beat too, right? So you mentioned San Diego State and Utah State. But if, say, they make it to the title game and they lose to Colorado State, well, Colorado State would be a bid stealer in that situation, likely. And so I think that if you go to the title game and you can't win it, I think you probably have to take a loss against probably Utah State, which is the only other team that is pretty much a lock from the Mountain West to make the field of 68, right? So I think that is the only path that would give them a significant amount of hope. And on the flip side of that, you look around the country, gosh, it would be really, really nice if somehow Clemson could go win the ACC tournament. I think you look at their early path to get to the title game, it's completely manageable, but would they have enough left in the tank to go knock off Duke again? They did it once this year, but that was at Clemson. Playing them on a neutral court with an ACC title on the line would probably be a little bit of a different story. But that's why, I don't know. I want to believe, I want to be optimistic and say 2 wins, puts them on the bubble, and it's a coin flip that they fall on the right side of. But I'm just skeptical of that, man. I'm really skeptical of that. So I personally think they probably got to go win the whole thing to make the NCAA tournament.
And we're not in these committee. We don't really know how it works. But to me, Jay, it seems like the last couple of years, especially that year Boise State won the tournament and got like 3 more quad wins and still was an 8 seed or whatever. Like. I just, again, I don't know this for sure, but it sure looks to me that these games on, for sure, Friday and Saturday, but even, Thursday is kind of the last day where you can change the committee's mind, in my opinion. I don't think getting quad 1 wins on Friday and Saturday is all of a sudden putting you in over another team. I just, again, and I could be wrong, but when I look at this stuff, it just does not seem like to me that they put a lot of value on what happens Friday and Saturday, or Sunday for that matter. Which is why a lot of conference team, championship games used to be on Sunday and got moved to Saturday. Big 12 was one of them. There's some others just because it was too late in the process. The brackets had to be done. The games just don't matter. And I frankly don't think the games Saturday matter. And I'm not even sure Friday's games truly matter when you're playing a semifinal game like a Colorado State that doesn't start till midnight Eastern on Friday night. You really think the committee is staying up till 2:30 in the morning to watch Colorado State and decide if they should be in over another team? I think I think they all arrive on Wednesday, and I think a lot of the pecking order is already done by the time Thursday night's over. And I think that, bid stealers can bump teams down. Winning your conference thing can get you out of Dayton and make you automatic. I mean, there's small spots you have to make, but I just personally don't think a lot can change in Friday and Saturday for me. So, I mean, we'll see. That worries me a little bit that everyone's like, oh, they can get to the title game. It's like, I don't really know if that, I mean, the Thursday, 3:30 Thursday, San Diego State, and that very well could be a losers out game, Jay. Like maybe that's what it ends up being. If San Diego State loses, I think we all would say they probably have a little better chance of staying in than if Boise State loses. I mean, they are higher on the pecking order than Boise State, but Joe Lunardi has San Diego State and Dayton right now too. So, I mean, if San Diego State loses, they could be out. I was on the Field of 68 podcast with those guys. They're trying to push 5 bid Mountain West. I just don't see that happening. I love the Mountain West has some great teams this year. I love some of these coaches. I just don't see 5 bids being possible. Frankly, I still think 3 is probably where it's at. So, I mean, I feel like Utah State, New Mexico are in a pretty good spot, and Boise State, San Diego State, Colorado State, whoever kind of does better in the tournament, maybe gets that third spot. I don't know. But I just I'm a little worried, I guess, that the Boise State can really improve its chances all that much after Thursday. Am I crazy?
No, I agree with you on that one. The thing that makes me probably the most pessimistic, if you will, is that they're on the bubble with two teams from the Mountain West, Colorado State and San Diego State. And what was their record against those two teams this year? 0-4. And so that's really that's a tough situation to be in, man. And hopefully there's some recency bias. You prove that you can beat San Diego State at the Mountain West tournament, and maybe that drowns out the noise a little bit of going 0-2 against them in the regular season. But I honestly don't know if that's the case. I think that the other unfortunate thing is that, I mean, on so many levels that, had they beaten Colorado State, man.
Oh, it seems like now they would have been clearly in the field. They could have maybe gotten out of Dayton.
That's rough. I mean, it does seem like that's the case, but even more so than that, and I know that we've already brought this up a little bit, BJ, but you look at their path now, man, and they split against New Mexico. Sure, they were 0-2 against San Diego State. Those are the teams that they're likely going to have to get through, right? And so they're 1-3 against those teams combined. To where had they won, man, the teams in the bottom half of that bracket, if they were the 2 instead of Colorado State, they would. I mean, they pretty much swept everybody except for Utah State, and they took a 4-point play in Logan at the last second to beat the Broncos. So you would have felt so much different right now about their path to a title in the Mountain West tournament, the NCAA tournament, all of this, had they just been able to somehow hold a 9-point lead in the second half of that game. And I know we got to kind of put that one to bed at some point in time, but it's still just, oh man, it just makes you shake your head a little bit. And yeah. And another thing I looked up too, BJ, it is a 10-point loss at Extra Mile Arena. Those are double-digit losses at Extra Mile Arena are extremely rare. Extremely rare.
Yes.
They had one on senior night, coincidentally, last year against Nevada. But prior to that, you got to go back to like 2020. I mean, they don't happen very often.
I looked it up one time, I think 6 or 7 in the Leon Rice era or something, in 14, 15 years of home games.
And a lot of those, I will say, a number of those kind of came in those 2 down seasons or whatever, which was his second year where he had a bunch of young guys, first year in the Mountain West. And then was it 2019 they had a losing record, I believe?
Yeah, something like that. Because everyone talks about Leon Rice, but I think he's 82% home winning percentage or something. So yeah, I was looking at the other 18% one time, because like even those games, you're still getting a close competitive game at home most of the time. And you're right, 2020 you said? Wow. That's
they don't happen often, man. They don't. And especially
in this league, you look at Boise State's formula the last couple of years. You have to take care at home, and then you have to, try to pick off some games on the road. But you just cannot, in this league with the home courts in this league, you cannot afford to give up home court. And for Boise State to lose 2 league home games this year, I know 7-2 is still pretty good overall, but when you're talking about a team that went 14-6 in the league or whatever, and on the road venues you have to go to, you just can't give away home games. And frankly, when you're up 9 with 10 minutes to go or whatever it was against Colorado State, you gave away that game.
No, it's harsh, but there's literally no other way to look at that. Like, I know Clifford had a great game, but when you win as much as you do at Boise State, especially at home, you've got to figure out a way to close that one out. Like, there's you got to figure out a way.
I feel, and maybe it's my, let me see if I guess I go wear Travis Hawks's blue and orange hat here for Capital 11, but I said maybe I'm going to put on my blue and orange goggles. But I feel weirdly confident Boise State, at least against San Diego State, is going to find a way to win. I don't know why. I was about to do it today. I'm probably going to do it on my flight down, Jay. But we know it's not good. But I was going to go look at the Mountain West tournament history here for Boise State, to get the exact number. But you go back and look at. Obviously, they won the tournament, and maybe you already know it off the top of your head, and you've already done the research. But you go back to the last several years, as everybody knows, it has not been a great, great time for Boise State fans down there in Las Vegas. They were, one and done last year against New Mexico, the 3 seed losing to the 6 seed. Year before, 2023, they won that first round game against UNLV, but then lost to Utah State in the first game. I think 2022 they got to they obviously won it, but I mean I don't know when the last time was they even got to the semifinals. Was that they were one and done in 2021? San Diego State, they were in the semifinals in 2020. Okay.
So that was right before, that would have been right before COVID.
Quarterfinals in 19, lost in the first round in 18, lost in the first round in 17, lost in the first round in 16, 15 lost in the semifinals to Wyoming. So, yeah, I mean, everybody knows this by now. I don't need to pain them here on a Tuesday morning. But the record, and that's why I think, Jay, unfortunately, a lot of people seeing the path that you're laying out there, it's pretty, easy and fair to see why fans aren't super optimistic.
Yeah. I think that I would say I'm more optimistic. And so you go down there and you think, hey, maybe they got a chance. I mean, we're booked through Saturday night, just like you are, BJ. We're bringing enough underwear to stay there through the championship game. But I just don't know if, in years past, it usually results to us sitting on press row, and this is the harsh reality of it. Seeing if we can somehow get earlier and change our Southwest airline flights. I mean, that's just the reality of it. And it's up to them to change the narrative. I don't, Leon is such a fun guy, man. Like I know his players love him and all this stuff. And but they got to find a way to go down there and, as Leon would say, let the fur fly. Like, just free and easy. They're playing for everything right now, but they have to play like, they have nothing to lose. And hopefully that's the case, man. I think that Alvaro Cardenas' attitude and his leadership is going to make a big difference when you get on that court down there in Vegas. But there's also going to be swings of momentum in the game. There always are at the Thomas and Mack Center. We've seen it with Boise State a couple of years ago. It looked like they were going to blow UNLV out, and that game went to overtime, right? Like, I think they're up like 20 or something. I mean, they're way up in that game.
Yes.
And all of a sudden, UNLV comes back and forces OT, and Boise State finds a way to get out of that one. But you just have to deal with those emotions, and hopefully they shoot it well, Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm.
I mean, unfortunately, Jay, it is just, I know the same common denominator as Leon Rice for some of these. I get it, but like, it's new players, it's new seasons. Like, they're not, it's not exact. Like, just because they lost the first round game in 2016 doesn't mean they're going to lose a first round game on Thursday.
No,
like, it doesn't always go together, but there is a long, history here where they, fans see it. I mean, is that 2022 was that the first, in terms of the Mountain West, that's their only appearance in the championship game, right?
Correct.
And I believe they've only made the semifinals 4 times.
I think the semifinals 4 times. That, by the way, that's not wins in the semifinals, because obviously they only made it to the championship game once. That is just kind of making it to the semifinals. So that might just mean a quarterfinal win. That's, for how long they've been in the league, that's not like the best success track record in ever.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dan says Rice hasn't been here for all 30, 40 of those years, to be
Nope.
fair. Yeah, he gets lumped in with the 0-10 when only 5 of them are his. But I like I said, I again, maybe it's call me a homer, whatever fans want to say. I have a weird, I just get these weird feelings sometimes, and sometimes it's not like I'm 100% by any means, or I would be, rich on a yacht somewhere, not from gambling, not hosting a show here at 9 a.m. with Jay. But we talked about it yesterday, Jay. I don't know. I feel weirdly confident. Like, this season's just been so many times people are ready to give up on them, and I still, like I said, maybe I'm going to prove to be wrong, but I hope Boise State's clipping this off and playing it, a week from now. It just feels like it just doesn't feel like this season is going to end this way, man. It just does not feel like. It just doesn't seem right, and it just doesn't seem fitting, and I just don't see it happening. I don't see Tyson Degenhart. I don't care what the odds are against him in this tournament or on Thursday, or that they've lost twice to San Diego State. I just don't see Tyson Degenhart ending his career flaming out in the quarterfinals of the Mountain West Tournament. I just don't. I don't see Alvaro Cardenas going out like this. I mean, I really think they can still get in the NCAA tournament somehow, some way. I think there's either going to be a surprise where they get into Dayton when no one's expecting them to, and there's a shocker on Selection Sunday, or they're going to win this tournament. Like I'm not ready to say they're not making the tournament yet. I just have a weird feeling, Jay. Like I'm still planning to not for childcare and to not be in town next week. Like I don't know. Maybe I'm crazy. Everyone can say that. That's fine. I'm a home or whatever. I'm knowing this team and the personalities on this team and the coaches and the players. And yeah, I'm getting caught up a little in the moment of it all. I understand that, but I think this is not how this season's supposed to end. And I'm not ready yet to say it's how it ends, Jay. I just have a weird feeling there's still something to happen.
Hell, my feeling would become much different, or a little more clear if I knew if Magoon Guath was going to play or not. And that's definitely seems to be up in the air. And yes, he warmed up prior to Nevada. Honestly, I didn't see the extent of those warm-ups. Was it just kind of a token warm-up? I have no idea. I honestly don't know. All that I do know is he's missed the last couple of games, and it seemed like there was some buzz around him that his injury was a little worse than maybe it was being led on to believe. So
apparently he's been shooting on the side, running on a treadmill. I don't know how much team stuff he's done, but he's getting from folks that cover the team or around the team. I was told yesterday, getting closer, but not sure if he plays Thursday.
Okay. I don't know. We'll just have that. I mean, that's a huge swing one way or the other, whether that guy plays or not. And San Diego State's good enough to win without him. They are, but we'll have to see, because he's just been a very, very difficult matchup for Boise State this year, and he's been a load to handle because Boise State's played in that small ball lineup, and they need somebody to step up. I mean, down in San Diego, Boise State was kind of in that game, and then they tried to sprinkle in a little Dylan Anderson. That did not go good. I mean, I know he's not. I'm not saying
Pamela Anderson frequents the chat sometimes. Pamela Anderson, so you may need to be careful with that.
Well, I don't think that's. I mean, at that point, I'm not saying the kid's a bad player or whatever, but it didn't go good that game. Like when he attempted to come in and help, like it just is what it is. I'm not like he's. I don't know. I'm not. If you look at it, there's a turning point in the game. Is it all that kid's fault? No, but they're still searching for answers of how they can potentially, face up and combat Magoon Guath, and they're 0 for 2 this year.
And
so,
and they're either working on. I mean, I don't know maybe what your take was on the question that you and me. I asked first, and you kind of followed up to Leon. Like I thought it was a legitimate question. I understand he's not going to give their game plan away. Tyson at least expanded a little bit, but I said, hey, like they had 10 blocks. You can't, you obviously have to do something different, but you also can't just take 53s in this game either. Like you've got to find a way to. You have to get in the paint somehow. So how do you what's that give and take where if you take it in there, there's a chance it's going to get swatted into the third row, but also you're not a great 3-point shooting team and you can't just take 43s and sit around the 3-point line. So they're in a weird spot here. And Leon kind of smiled and said, great question. And then didn't want to talk about it. You joked, just get to the foul line, which get them in foul trouble and score some points at the free throw line where they can't guard you. And then he just kind of said, it's a great question. And I don't know if he was, I won't say he was on edge yesterday, but I mean, I don't know.
It's pre-tourney time. Take offense to nothing. All these guys are going to hold their cards close to the vest. Like it is what it is. He can only say so much. I get it. But they're going to have to dial something up, man. And you saw.
It's not just the 10 blocks though, Jay. It's also just the other shots that he altered because you had to shoot it higher than normal to try to get it over him, or the time you may have thought you had a shot, but you weren't sure and didn't shoot it and kicked it back out. Like the 10 blocks is one thing, but it's much more possessions and shots than that are impacted.
Well, that's for me. It's like, who rises to the occasion? Who rises to the occasion? And it's a very tricky thing because, let's say that, Tyson is in there at the 5. So can you put Tyson out on the perimeter and try to pull Magoon Guath out of the lane or whatever, right? But then you're also dealing with the situation where maybe Tyson's not being aggressive or doing what he does best, right? And so you got to figure that out. But on top of all that, it's like, who rises to the occasion, man? Like Peanut Carmichael came in late in that game and provided them with a little bit of spark down at San Diego State. But by then, I mean, the game was out of reach. They got down by 23 at one point in time, and you're just not going to come back from down 23 at Viejas Arena. So who's the person that can make San Diego State a little uncomfortable? So all of a sudden you're playing Boise State's game instead of San Diego State's game. Like who's that guy? And they certainly got options, but we'll see. And Leon pointed this out after the game too, that the bench was almost non-existent, it seemed like, in that Colorado State game. And there was no firepower. There was no way, that second wave coming off the bench. And it was just like a non-impactful. I don't know, 6 points. I don't have to explain to you that's not very impactful, but it just wasn't impactful. And there weren't other plays that were impactful. RJ Keene had a couple of his RJ Keene type plays. I will say that, but it just wasn't a very impactful, whatever performance by the bench. They need Javen Buchanan to come off the bench in these games and score 9 to 12 points. He's got to embrace it and be that guy, that dude comes off the bench and says, okay, now's my time to shine. And he had a tough game against Colorado State for whatever reason.
And one of the reasons the bench scoring was low is because Omar Stanley's production was counting his starter minutes. And I said before the game, I thought a vintage Omar Stanley performance was coming, and we didn't quite get that, but he had a huge block. He had a couple, the big dunk to start the game. I still saw some positive things from him, and I think Omar Stanley is a San Diego State opponent type player. I think Omar Stanley starts again. Leon didn't want to say that yesterday, but I would suspect Omar Stanley, he's back in there, and you're rolling with him moving forward here for the rest of the season. He's your senior. He's your guy. It's been an up and down year for him, but I think against San Diego State, and Ugbo's fine. He'll go in there and give his minutes. I'm not saying he doesn't deserve to be in there. Ugbo's fine, but I think that the physicality, the size, and most importantly, the experience of Omar Stanley in tournament play like this, I'm guessing Omar Stanley starts, and wouldn't shock me if he's a key player in this game.
Excuse me. Yeah, they need him, and we've been able to say this all season long, but I really thought Omar Stanley was going to average 14 and 8 for this team this year. I was pretty darn confident of that, maybe even a block as well. And he hasn't. But if they can get 3 games where he does that, man, then they got a great chance of going 3-0. Trying not to ignore their past failures, in all honesty, in Las Vegas, because it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of this time of year. But it would be nice to be able to stay in Vegas until Saturday and watch this team do what many have said they can't do.
Give me a team, Jay. They asked me this on the Field of 68 podcast. We'll finish up with a big picture tournament question here and then finish up on football. But a team that's playing on Wednesday. That could make a run here. I
think it's easy. It's UNLV. I think there's a decent chance that UNLV gets on a run. It really wouldn't shock me if UNLV winds up in the semifinals. It coming out of that side of the bracket, that really wouldn't
beat Utah State on that. I guess not on that floor. It's a new floor this year, but in that arena.
Yeah, it wouldn't shock me. They're playing some pretty good ball right now, and honestly, I think you kind of track Dedon Thomas. He's one of the best players in the Mountain West Conference, but UNLV's been playing better without him as of recently.
Yeah, Rich Wayne, their other guard, got hurt though in that game. I'm not sure his status moving forward here. He got hurt at the end of the last game. But yes, I agree with you. They've weirdly looked better without the best point guard in the Mountain West out there.
Tongue in cheek, I get it. But yeah, I would say it's them. If anybody, I don't even know if there's another option, BJ. Wyoming just doesn't have enough firepower. Obi's been great, but Air Force, Fresno State are god awful. I took
Nevada because somebody had already taken UNLV in front of me. I took Nevada just because Kobe Sanders could go off. Davidson's solid. Xavier Dussel just passed our man Justinian Jessup, so he's the all-time 3-point leader in the Mountain West. Maybe he hits 4 or 5. Maybe Nevada's checked out, but it wouldn't shock me if they get hot and win a game or two.
Nick Davidson's a good player. Yeah.
They're 0-9, I think, or 0-10 against the top 5 teams in the league.
Yeah. I'm not, if you have to pick somebody else because UNLV's taken, Nevada, I guess, is the next person up that might be able to make a run. But yeah, I think that anybody that plays on Wednesday, you're looking at UNLV. But let's face it, there's no New Mexico. New Mexico won 4 games in 4 days last year. There's nobody that's even close to them, which shows how deep the league was last year.
Sounds like Javen's mom will be there, bringing him some
luck.
So, Dad says mom will be there tomorrow, bringing him some luck. So that's going to be that'll be fun to see. And what we talk about the 8 newcomers and just the guys that I know the red shirt guys like the Bowie and Lockett's got to at least be at the tournament last year for that first game against New Mexico. But I can't imagine. Bob Beeler was asking me this yesterday, and I think Ethan Taylor at Air Force maybe has started all 4 years for Air Force, but they've probably been one and done every year. I'm trying to think of how many guys, right now in the Mountain West have played in more. Tyson has played in 5 Mountain West games. Cardenas has at least played in 3. I don't know if they won a game one of those years. I think they did. They were decent. They were the 4 or 5 seed, I think, one of those years. But in terms of, experience, and I know Omar Stanley has it in other conference tournaments too, but I would, you do have some guys like Buchanan's and that they're playing in their first one or first time, but at least played in the building earlier this year. But I do think I asked Leanne about this, Omar and Tyson and Cardenas in a tournament setting like this, Jay, is an advantage that some teams don't have.
Oh, you're exactly right. I mean, both those guys are massive advantages that a lot of teams don't have on any given night. Goes back to the optimism. Hopefully that they can go down there and get hot and get it done. I do think, yes, we're all going to focus on Stanley and Dagenhart and Alvaro, but I think Javen Buchanan's a huge swing guy in this game. I mean, when you really break it down, Javen wasn't far off from being a guy that you could have realistically voted for as 6th man of the year in the Mountain West Conference. I mean, he averaged almost 10 points per game off the bench. He was right there in the mix with some of the best guys that were the first off the bench throughout the entire league, right? So I think he's a guy that is going to be really, really big for this team. And another reason why I say that, for whatever reason, BJ, and I don't know this, Javen shoots much better on the road. I don't know why, but some of his best performances have happened away from Extra Mile Arena. At Extra Mile, he shot 44.8% this season. In true road games, he shot 55.6% this season. On neutral court games, he shot 57.4% this season. And I know that you were in the Cayman Islands to witness some of those magical performances. So something about getting out of the city of trees, I don't know what it is. I don't know why, but they could use a couple or a few vintage Javen Buchanan road performances this weekend.
What did he do at UNLV?
Oh, what did he do at UNLV? I can look. Actually, I got it right in front of me. Hold up.
In the building there. Maybe that's a good omen. Hopefully, don't say it if nothing good came from it. But
we'll just gloss over it and ignore it if he didn't play well.
13 points, 8 rebounds.
Yeah. See, you'll take that, man.
13 and 8 in 29 minutes.
And even up here in Boise, he had 12 points, 5 rebounds on 3 of 4 shooting, hit a couple of threes.
In that building.
I know. I was just, good point. Yeah, I guess.
I don't know if they'll play UNLV or not.
Yeah, good point. That doesn't matter. I was getting more caught up with the UNLV matchup. But yes,
13 and 8
down inside that arena, 13 and 8.
Yeah. What do you think of the new floor, by the way? Do you see it with the women's game yesterday?
Yeah,
hats off to, we should give props to Gordy Presnell and company. They went toe-to-toe with the number 1 seed UNLV yesterday. And I was thinking there for a decent short time. I had dinner plans tonight, Jay. I was going to have to cancel those to cover the semifinals tonight because they played great, and they were up, and then I think it was like a 10-2 run or something in the last 3 or 4 minutes that kind of changed the game. But hats off to Gordy Presnell, 4-time defending champs UNLV in this league, in this tournament. And Boise State had him on the ropes there. I think Boise State led for 30 of the 40 minutes in that game. And, I know overall record-wise and things wasn't the season that they had hoped for with some of these seniors and stuff, but they almost continued another magical run down there in Vegas.
Yeah, they were up by 5 going into the fourth quarter. I straight up, I couldn't believe it because UNLV's got a really good team, and Boise State played really good. Tatum Thompson was on fire. They just kind of ran out of gas. Danny Bays played great. They just kind of ran out of gas against a team that once that fourth quarter hit, UNLV just was not going to be denied. And I don't know what they outscored them by. I think they outscored them by 15 in the final 10 minutes.
Yeah, I mean, Boise State in the last 4 minutes, I think it was like 13-2 or something like that. It was a big run late, but they hung in there. It was a tie game with like 4 minutes left or something, 4 or 5 minutes left. And hats off to Gordy Presnell and company. Not sure. I think they have 18 wins. Not sure if the WNIT or something is an option for them. But speaking of which, somebody did ask Jay, and yes, if they go to the Crown tournament, Tyson's points do count. Someone did ask that.
31 points shy. Needs 31 points to break or to get to.
I think you just get 32 on Thursday and do it.
Sounds good. Yeah, go knock him. Go hit San Diego. He scored 47 as a team last time against him. Tyson goes and gets 32. I'm going to guess they'll score more than 47 as a team.
All right, Jay, I do want to get a football thought from you, but
yes.
I think at 10 o'clock they're going to announce the awards for basketball.
Oh, really? Okay.
You and I, or that's when they've been doing the player of the week ones. So I just assumed it would be the same time. Maybe not, but I don't know if you just wanted to give a quick thought on any of your voting or any thoughts on the awards or, whether it's the player of the year or if any Boise State guys made your ballot or what.
Yeah, both. I think it's pretty obvious. I think that the first team, the top 4 players in the league they should be unanimous. Neat Clifford, Donovan Dent, Tyson Dagenhart, and Nelly Jr. Joseph. I don't know how you don't have. If those 4 guys aren't all first teamers in a unanimous fashion, I can't help you because those all 4 deserve to be first teamers. I think the 5th spot gets a little tricky. You could debate that thing a number of ways. I personally gave that 5th spot to Ian Martinez. He was one of the most consistent players in the Mountain West Conference this year, finished in double figures every single game, hit a number of big shots for Utah State, pretty good on the defensive end. I gave it to Ian Martinez. And the funny thing, I think I was really debating between him and Mason Falslev because I think that Falslev's kind of a little bit more the heartbeat of that team, but I sided with Ian. I just think he's a little more consistent. Plus, that team's terrible at shooting free throws. Ian's like the one guy that's like money for them at the free throw line.
Yeah, and I had you mentioned, he is, and I agree with you. I mean, and then once you get to like second team, I thought there was 13 guys that you just knew had to be on one of the teams.
Yeah.
And then you kind of split some hairs there. I mean, there was probably 7 or 8 guys, and you're supposed to go on conference stats only, which does change the rankings a little bit because a guy like Andrew Meadow, especially down the stretch, I had some big games down the stretch as Boise State was surging in the standings here. So I put Andrew Meadow 3rd team. I'll throw that out there. I don't care. Some people call me a homer or whatever. I looked at some of his games down the stretch, and I thought Andrew Meadow, frankly, did a lot to help Boise State late in the season. And he's probably, he'll be an honorable mention guy. He probably won't get it. But, I mean, you look at his last 5 games, 22, 14, 22, 17, 24. He had, 14, 20, another 18 in conference play, 12, 14, 11, 14, 14. I mean, he was – I thought down the stretch especially, he did a lot for this team in some big games to help them out. So I went 3rd team with Meadow. I had Degenhart 1st team. I had Cardenas 2nd team. So those are my 3 Boise State represent. Did you have Cardenas 2nd team?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a bummer, man. If had Boise State won the league, I think you could have made a real strong argument for Alvaro to be on 1st team. But since they finished 5th, it's hard to put 2 guys on the 1st team that finished 5th. It's a bummer. Alvarado, what a great season he's had, but that just kind of is what it is.
Yeah. Cracker Hoops says Meadow was 3rd team worthy. Yeah, he was my 15. You have to rank him 1 through 15. He was literally 15, so he was the last guy that cracked it. So he won't get it. He'll be honorable mention. But all right, Jay. I'm just gonna, since I skipped away it and we're past time, I'm just gonna do a quick. I'm not gonna thank all the sponsors here. I'm just gonna do a quick 30 seconds here, and we'll be right back.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RovePaint.com. Our major sponsors, Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors, Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Boucher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.
All right, I'll keep this thing going longer. Maybe I can stretch it to 10 myself when the awards come out. But Jay, football practice yesterday. Just what were your big takeaways? I liked hearing that nobody will wear number 2 anytime soon. I think that was obvious, but kind of cool that it sounds like they're unofficially retiring 2 to go with the 11, which has been unofficially retired already. But no big injury updates. I mean, Sire Gaines is out right now. He'll be back. It sounds like after spring break, they're kind of easing him into it. But I noticed from at practice, Jay, there's been times where you look over there and there's almost half the team that's out with an injury at the beginning of spring practice. I mean, they've had years where there's no starting offensive linemen because they're all having cleanup surgeries and things, and they're all out there. There were very few guys that were not out there yesterday. This is as healthy as I can remember a Boise State football team going into the spring in a long time. And even guys like Caples and Gaines and some of these guys that were kind of getting eased in, they'll be back after spring break. I didn't see too many guys. I mean, I'm trying to think if I even saw one guy in a boot on the sidelines. Like it was very noticeable that they had a good chunk of their players out there. Now, it was also noticeable that there was no Ahmed Hassanin, no Genty, no Tubner. I mean, all these guys that you've known to, they're just all gone. And it's a very weird feeling. But in terms of the injuries and these guys that, frankly, some of these guys need the spring reps too, after, as they're moving into bigger roles and things like that. I thought that was the big takeaway for me was the health of this team going into spring.
Yeah, it's going to be it should be a really fun spring, man, with how many guys are available, as you just said. A chance for these guys to get better and make progress this spring and do it. And more than anything, maybe build some continuity within the units, right? Like there's not going to be so many guys that are plugging and playing and filling roles that they might not even play or get an opportunity to play during fall camp, right? So, what a tremendous opportunity for them to move forward. I think the thing that stands out to me is how long they're stretching out spring ball this year. It's an additional week or two. I mean, usually this thing's over in a month, and they're going to go 6 weeks. So, Spencer was saying yesterday, they want to be very thoughtful, and when they do practice, they want a day or so to analyze the film and kind of critique things and then get better by practicing once again that week. And that's a new strategy, a new method, but these guys are there anyways. So this just kind of allows you to structure things a little longer, which I think is a good thing.
Sky's asking, are they ever going to say what's actually up with Sire, or is it still top secret? No, it was the same injury as last year. My understanding is he's a guy that doesn't go anything less than 120%. And the first day of spring practice is just not necessarily the day you need to have him out there going crazy and re-aggravating anything. So my understanding is when they come back from spring break, he'll be out there ready to go. He could have gone these couple of days. They just didn't see a need to push it. And apparently could have played in the Fiesta Bowl if they really wanted to push it too. So I get it but I don't think he's a guy you need to, injury prone, worried about him next season. I don't think that's the case. I just think they realize, kind of like the Ashton Genty mold last year, that Sire Gaines is going to be a massive part of their team next year. And there's no need in the first spring practice to risk anything.
First off, it's awesome that everybody's healthy. Secondly, I'm not going to make a big deal out of somebody not being there because, as you said, it's the first day of spring ball and they got 6 weeks of this thing. So Spencer wanted to sneak a week in before spring break. That's actually common practice because I think that I think that while guys are away on spring break, they kind of have that lingering thought. Now we are kind of in football mode, so don't go too crazy. I'm not worried about that at all.
And by the way, you mentioned spring practice. Yes, typically they would go 2 weeks. The first session, take the week off, go 2 weeks, and kind of have it make 4 weeks of actual practice with the 1 week in the middle, like you said, for spring break. But there's a weird with the calendar this year, Jay, because they did go so long playing with the Fiesta Bowl and stuff. They didn't want to go up any earlier, but also you don't want this going into May. And, you also don't want, with the transfer portal and all that going on, there wasn't really a way to do it. So you get these 3. And then, like you said, he didn't want to go any more than, no back-to-back practices. So they'll go Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, for 4 weeks after spring break and have that extra time to really analyze the film and study and take advantage of it. So makes sense to me. We'll see. But we'll get more into the position battles and players to watch and all that after spring break. But there really wasn't any huge newsworthy notes or nuggets or anything out of yesterday. Most guys are healthy. They had a good first practice. It was good seeing Frank Miley back out there, Zach Hill, all those guys. It was, weird seeing Frank Miley back out there, not going to lie, but he was, and that is a storyline for me because I saw him doing a lot of coaching and they initially, called him a defensive analyst. I saw on the roster they sent out, or they gave the media at practice yesterday. He was listed as assistant defensive line coach, but he was every bit the full defensive line coach if you weren't paying attention. He was running drills, doing stuff, and that allowed Chenander to get in there, and he was helping too. And as Spencer said, there's a lot of new D linemen, so the one-on-one attention those guys are going to get is going to be great. But I think as you go along, that's going to allow Eric to kind of sift over and watch a couple drills with the DBs or watch something with the linebackers. And I think that's going to be to basically have a D-line coach and then a defensive coordinator that could almost be separate positions or whatever now that you have unlimited coaches. I think that's probably a storyline for down the road. But I thought that was massive. I thought Zach Hill being back working with the quarterbacks directly is a big deal as well. So a lot of intriguing storylines throughout the spring, and we'll obviously be following them. But Jay, appreciate you jumping on. Safe travel to Vegas. You're at the Circa too, right?
Yep, should be. Yeah, we'll see you over there.
Jay Tust, KTVB will be broadcasting live, hopefully out with Jay Tust with his feet in the pool there at Stadium Swim for a live shot. Get Brady in a Speedo or something. Come on.
We'll see. I'll try to convince him on the way down, dude.
Make sure you're checking out KTVB throughout the week. They'll have all kinds of coverage at Boise State down there at the Mountain West Tournament. Jay and Brady will be live all week down there in Vegas, as will Bronco Nation News. And then, Jay, I truly, really, really hope that you're having to wake up Friday morning, not to fly back, but to come on with me about a Friday night semifinal. I hope you're at Circa and you can just come join me in person on Friday morning to do the show, getting ready for a game against New Mexico Friday night.
That's what I'm planning on.
You'd never be happier to come do a live show with me, I guess. Then if
exactly.
All right, appreciate it, Jay.
All right, bud.
Jay Tust, appreciate him, sports director at KTVB. I'm going to keep this thing going a little bit because we do have the Mountain West Awards coming out in 9 minutes. We'll, if you got any questions, thoughts, football, basketball, whatever you got, we'll keep the stream going a little bit longer. My flight to Vegas isn't until 1 o'clock, so I got a little time here. Let's thank a couple of our sponsors real quick. Get your thoughts, your comments in, football, basketball, whatever direction you want to go. This is Bronco Nation News Live, a Taco Bell Tuesday here at Bronco Nation News.
If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it. I know that you're shitty and you're bad for me, but I can't stop thinking about it. If you think I'm pretty, lay your hands on me. No, you can't stop thinking about it. I know that you're shitty and you're bad for me, but I can't stop thinking about it.
When I want Boise State to win, I trust Coach Rice to lead the Broncos to victory.
And when I want the best painting and garage floor coating, I trust rowpaint.com to get that job done right.
Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
It's game day. Are you ready?
Let's go!
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
And we will be at Circa Resort and Casino throughout Mountain West Tournament. We get there this afternoon. We'll be there tomorrow, Thursday, Friday. Join us for the pool party on Friday. If Boise State wins on Thursday, come celebrate 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. We'll be out on Friday if you're heading down to Las Vegas. If you are not staying at Circa or the D, typically you'd have to pay $25 to get in. But if you come to the check-in and say you're here for the BNN event, you will get in for free. So free entry into Stadium Swim. We will have kind of a cabana over in the corner if you want to come say hello. But it's just going to kind of be open in terms of where you want to hang out at the pools and the food and drink you want to go get up at the bar. They got great food, drink specials and things going on. But we'll be there hanging out 10 to 3. So if you want to come over and say hello, we'll be up in one of the cabanas. We'll let you know which one. But 10 to 3 pool party at Stadium Swim. BNN is what you got to say to get in for free. We're looking forward to that on Friday. We will be around, like I said, tomorrow night. If Wednesday evening tomorrow, anybody's around, wants to, meet up at Long Bar or Overhang or, wherever and catch up and have a cocktail or something, let us know. Team BNN is going to be down there and ready to meet some of you and hang out. So just reach out to us via email, reach out on Twitter, whatever, and let us know if you're staying at Circa or the D, which hopefully you are. Let us know. We'd love to, get together and hang out and meet up. But definitely plan for Friday and tell your friends if Boise State wins on Thursday, 10 to 3 on Friday. We'll be out hanging out at Stadium Swim as the semifinal game starts at 6 o'clock. So you can come hang out. That Friday is one of the best days in sports, too. You got the quarterfinals of the Big Ten tournament, a lot of these tournaments going on, ACC, Big 12. There's games all day, and you can just sit out there at the pool and watch some games and get ready for the hopefully the Boise State semifinal game that night. So we'll be around Circa. If you've never been to Circa, highly recommend Circa. We'll be live from there tomorrow morning, probably in the sports book, and then we'll have live shows Thursday and Friday as well from Circa Resort and Casino and the D, and just looking forward to a ton of fun down there. So excited to get down to Circa and hope to see a lot of you there. And we'll be going back in August for contest weekend. So if any of you want to, enter and win maybe the millions of dollars, let me know. We'll head down there in August and try to win it big there. So I'm looking forward to getting to Circa today. Awesome people. Appreciate all them for their support of BNN. It's like my second home down there, my second family, the group at Circa. So hope to see some of you down there. If you're around, let us know. And again, I still have that promo code last minute. If you're looking to stay at Circa or the D, send me an email. We can hook you up at Circa or the D last minute for the tournament. So let's see what we got here. Do I think Rice makes any changes to the offense in the offseason? And Ray says no. So I guess he is happy with the offense there, Ray. I don't think they change anything. The offense actually is one of the best offenses they've ever had. I know the eye test doesn't always meet up with that, but if you look at Boise State's offensive numbers at KenPom, right now they have the 45th best offense in the country. They are in the top 15% of all offenses in college basketball right now. And you go back and look, and you have to go really far. I'm going year by year here at KenPom, and this is Boise State's best offense since the 2014 season. They were ranked 29th in offensive efficiency in 2014. I know the three-point percentage needs to get better. There are certain aspects of the offense you certainly would like to see improve, but overall, the offense as a whole and the efficiency and what they get with what they have, this is the best offense Boise State has had since 2014, 11 seasons, and it is the third best offense they've ever had in the KenPom era, 29 years. So 29 years, and this is the third best offense they've had in 29 years. So I understand the eye test doesn't always show that, doesn't always say that. At times, it's a frustrating offense with some of the shot clock violations and some of Cardenas just having to jack up a shot at the end of the shot clock. But the numbers say this is one of the best offenses Boise State has had. So I do think that they're going to try to go get some dudes at guard. You need some guys that can get to the rim, some guys that can facilitate. I do think that is certainly something. I mean, they like Bowie, they like Lockett. You never know in the transfer portal who's sticking around, who's not, what's going on there. But I do think getting another guard is certainly one area they'll look at. I think you need to try to get some three-point shooting as well. And we're going to do a bracket challenge. Somebody asked about that. I don't have prizes or things lined up yet, but we'll try to get a bracket challenge going if folks are interested in that. We can certainly try to get a bracket challenge going on BNN, and we'll come up with some sort of prize here on Selection Sunday. So we will work on that and get that set up for you here in the near future. We are about 2 minutes away from the All Mountain West Awards coming up, so I do want to give a quick comment on those before we get out of here. When those pop out, I believe 10 o'clock, but we'll find out here together in a minute or two. Fully expect Tyson Degenhart to be first team. I suspect Alvaro Cardenas will be second team, and then we'll see if anybody gets on honorable mention or third team. I think Andrew Meadow has a shot there. I think Buchanan certainly could have got a vote for newcomer of the year, but I don't think he can, just doesn't have the, with Kobe Sanders and some of the other newcomers in the league, Guath. I don't think you can, Sanders probably wins it. There was a couple other guys that should have been in the mix. Actually, I don't know if Guath's eligible. He's a newcomer in terms of playing, but he was on San Diego State last year as a redshirt. I don't know all the rules on that, but I voted for Kobe Sanders, Nevada. Maybe that was just in person because I saw his 30 points and what he did against Boise State in that game. But I think that he, coming over and doing what he did for Nevada, put up some big numbers. I was pretty impressed with what he did. So I went with Kobe Sanders. I had I'll say it. My player of the year was Donovan Dent. I was very close to voting for Nick Clifford. I really looked at it, but in the end, some of the stats from Dent and just also the fact that his team did win the league. I did go ahead and give Dent the player of the year, but I did give Niko Medved the coach of the year. And I understand that it's not really fair to penalize a coach like Richard Pitino when his team was picked higher. I understand that. They lost a lot. He retooled the roster. He deserves credit for that. They were picked second. They got first. I understand it. They had a heck of a year. And literally it was, 50.0001 and 49.9999. You could have flipped the coin and gone either way. For me, it was super close. But for me, Niko Medved, I thought that they lost more and on paper didn't think they did enough to replace it. And what he did with that roster to finish second place in this league and to, when they were picked preseason 7th, I just thought the jump they made was really, really, really impressive. And like I said, nothing against Richard Pitino. I could have gone either way. I fully expect, by the way, Richard Pitino to win the award. But I went with Niko Medved for my coach of the year, but I did go Donovan Dent for my player of the year. And I think you could have gone, if you would have voted for Nick Clifford, I would have said no problem with it. You vote for Donovan Dent, no problem with it. And same thing for either coach. Patino's going to win. Very deserving coach. I'm going to have no problem with it at all. I just felt like Niko Medved deserved slightly my at least some recognition, and I don't know how many people were going to vote for him, so I went ahead and gave Niko Medved the vote. It is different this year, by the way. They in the past have done separate media and coach ballots, and it's been kind of confusing. They did bring the media back in the fold this year for the voting, but the media doesn't get the same percentage. So the coach's vote is worth, double what the media vote is worth. So all 11 head coaches vote, and they get, I guess you could say, 2 points for their vote. And then the two media members from each market vote. It was me and Jay Tust this year, and we get 1 point for our vote essentially. Or if there's just, if there's one piece of the pie in Boise, Leon Rice gets 50%, Jay Tust 25%, BJ Rains 25%, and then it goes out there. So ultimately, my vote was only worth 1/44 of the votes out there. So my vote really not going to probably matter much, just to be honest with you. So anyone that wants to get, worked up that I went with Niko Medved over Richard Pitino, I wouldn't worry about it because Richard Pitino is going to win. I'd be surprised if he didn't. But in the end, I thought that Donovan Dent, I agree with Jay in terms of the first team all league players. But we'll see in terms of, I think Guath's the freshman. I think that's pretty easily. I had Latrell Davis, I believe, San Jose State as the freshman or as the sixth man of the year. So we'll see. And I must have been wrong on the time because it's 10:02 and they haven't come out yet. So maybe they're doing it later today. I don't know. What does Leon get picked for being first and getting fifth? It's funny to say that, Todd, because if you go back and look, I think it was last year or the year before, Boise State has actually outperformed their preseason projections in a positive way more than any other team in the league. You go back the last decade, Boise State would be picked 5th, 6th, 7th, and finish like 2nd or 3rd almost every year. So I know this year everyone wants to say, oh, this is another typical underachieving team or whatever. But if you actually go back and look, the stats say differently. The stats say that this is an anomaly to finish lower than where they were picked preseason. Boise State traditionally finishes higher than their preseason prediction in the Mountain West standings almost every year. So I understand this year that's an easy narrative for folks to go with, but it's not factually true over the long haul of the conference season in the Mountain West Conference. Boise State has factually done better than they were predicted to do in the Mountain West on a more consistent basis. So Bob says, I think if the Broncos get to the tourney game, they can get to Dayton for the first 4. A loss anywhere, believe it's off to the NIT or the Crown tourney. I think the Crown tournament's going to be an interesting one because as we talked about in previous days, there's an NIL component to that. Players can get paid. It's on Fox Sports 1 and Fox. It's got good TV numbers. It's in Vegas. It's all no travel. You go down to Vegas. You're there for the whole week. It's a fun send-off for some of these teams. And the winning team gets $300,000. So, I mean, there's a money component to this where teams are going to be fired up to play because if you win, you get $300,000 to split amongst your players. So I think the Crown tournament is very appealing, and we'll see what Boise State ends up doing. But hopefully that doesn't come to that. Hopefully they get in the big dance. And I think that They still can. Like I said, call me a homer or whatever, but I just I'm not ready to believe the season ends this way. I still think they have a couple wins left in them, and maybe a big one next week in Dayton or somewhere else. I don't know, but we'll see what happens. Looking forward to it. Going to be an exciting time. And again, we will be live at Circa Resort and Casino. We're pushing the shows back, folks, 1 hour. Due to the time change and things, and just to be an early morning and what time they can get us the Ethernet and get us on the air. So we will be 10 a.m. Mountain Time the rest of the week. 10 a.m. tomorrow, 10 a.m. Thursday, 10 a.m. Friday Mountain Time. So 9 a.m. in Vegas, 10 a.m. Mountain Time, 1 hour late start the next 3 days, live from Circa Resort and Casino for our shows. So tell your friends, tune in tomorrow live from Vegas as the tournament gets going with the play-in games. We'll be live at 10 a.m. to preview the 3 play-in games. And like I said, if you're around Circa, go ahead and reach out. Let us know. We'd love to meet up, say hello to you guys, and maybe buy you a beer or something. So appreciate you guys. Thanks so much. Going to be a lot of fun the next couple of days down in Las Vegas. Really excited. Looking forward to getting down there and seeing if Boise State can make a run here and still have the season finished the way that they hoped it would, when the season started. So hope you guys have a great rest of your day. I'm going to head to the airport, head down to Vegas, and we will see you at 10 a.m. Mountain Time tomorrow, live from Vegas as we get you set for the start of the Mountain West Tournament tomorrow with the 3 play-in round games that start tomorrow, I think around noon or so. So appreciate you guys. Thank you so much for your support of Bronco Nation News. Go support the sponsors. And again, if you need a last-second hotel room at Circa or the D for the tournament, if you're deciding at the last minute, come on down. Would love to have you, and we can help get you a discounted rate using our BNN promo codes. Just send me an email, and we will try to make that happen for you. So Mountain West Awards should be coming out at some point here today. And, looking forward to getting down to it. Going to be a fun couple of days. Hopefully couple days is the right word. Hopefully it's, 4 days, 5 days. I am packed 2 sport coats for Friday and for Saturday. I got 3, dress shirts for Thursday, Friday, Saturday. I'm multiple, dress shoes. I'm packing for the long haul here. I'm prepared to stay till Saturday night after the game. So hopefully that's the case and what's needed for Boise State in this tournament. So appreciate you guys. Thanks a lot for your support. Sign up for BNN if you can. BNN 50 deal. You see it scrolling across the screen. There is the promo code that gets you a full year of coverage for $50. I just got Nathan Carroll's Mountain West preview. We'll get that posted to the website. The full press conference videos from Leon Rice, Tyson Degenhart, and Spencer Danielson is up on our YouTube channel. You can go watch that as well. And check out our website. Like I said, great content, and you can subscribe and read it for just $50 for a full year using that promo code BNN50 deal. But this show, over an hour long now here, free of charge for you to watch on YouTube, on Facebook, and on X. Thanks to all of our great sponsors, many of which you see behind me: Jackson's, Taco Bell, all the other great sponsors we have: Ridley's Family Markets, Matt Bauscher, Bauscher Real Estate, TCS, Transportation Compliance Service, Lean Feast, and of course, Signature Roofing. Appreciate all of our great sponsors that make this show possible. Please continue to support the sponsors. Tell them you're supporting them because of their work with BNN, and help keep all these social media daily shows free of charge for you to watch. So subscribe, like, share, all this good stuff. Tell your friends, and we will see you at Circa Resort and Casino. It's going to be a fun couple of days. Hopefully Boise State can win some games, and nobody loves staying in Vegas and staying at Circa more than me. So I want to stay as long as I can down there. So hope to see you guys down there. Should be a fun couple of days. Boise State, the Mountain West Tournament, they're heading out today as well. Full coverage coming to Bronco Nation News Live, BroncoNationNews.com. We'll see you in Vegas.
Bronco Nation News is presented by our title sponsor, RowPaint.com. Our major sponsors: Idaho Central Credit Union, Taco Bell, Lithia Ford, the Blue and Orange Store, Jackson's, and our contributing sponsors: Signature Roofing, Western Collective, Snake River Pool and Spa, Transportation Compliance Service, Bauscher Real Estate, Ridley's Family Markets, Circa Las Vegas, Lean Feast, and Timberstone Golf Course.